Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, maybe even good night, my friends, YouTube family. Here is a watch strap. Which just got finished here in the shop for Todd. And I'm gonna show this watch strap on a few different watch heads, if I can, with my one-handed videos. Here's my hand, and the other hand holds this iPhone. And here's the watch strap that Todd will receive in a little bit. It goes out here. It is, of course, one of our Horben leather straps that is handcrafted everything. Just everything. Stitched and cut and dyed, and well, the corners. The leather itself is, of course, it's Horben leather, so if we receive it dyed, that is part of the speciality. Horben offers a leather that builds a pattern over the years, and the watch straps do last over the years. I have watch straps that I made I guess almost 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and so on. Let's talk a little bit about the watch straps. I have these watch heads here, so I can hopefully show it to you how it looks on different watch heads. These are all shop watches, Omega, and that's Rolex. This is a stealth version of a Rolex, and more modern, and so I show it to you on a more modern watch. And then these are a bit more in an older direction, and so you can see it there in a minute. But let's talk about the watch strap. It is, of course, hand stitched. I told you, hand everything. And so up here we do double saddle stitch, because that's where the tough happens on watch straps, because the watch head and so on. Then down here it has a cross stitch. That's also where some, and of course here also double saddle stitched. And here the cross stitching brings some stability in this area where twist and forces happen. It has a wave on the keeper and a little dust. These dusts are tough, but before things go out, they'll be cleaned. See if I can get it out of this groove. I can't, but so yeah. The stitching we use is coated. This particular coating is either wax or Teflon. Both. It prevents when these somewhat, we call it natural colors, get in touch with dirt. The coating prevents that from getting too dirty, and was a damp rag, you can just wipe it and it becomes clean. So it does the journey through your 20-year ownership, hopefully. And it's a wonderful buckle. I told you already, I don't use lug bars on the one-handed videos, because this hand by itself can otherwise not remove that watch strap. But here, this watch strap is for a regular size wrist, which is In the US, 7.5, maybe a little smaller. So the center holes are what we call root holes. They correspond with the wrist size given, and then up and down it goes typically an inch or more, so you can have a 7 to 7.5 or 7.5 to 8 if you order a normal size. But you would know if you have a normal size if off the shelf straps fit you, then most likely your wrist is in the 7.5 take a little area, but you can also measure it. And if you don't know how to measure it, there's wonderful videos how to measure wrist. Was a tape measure and a piece of string, for example, or even was a piece of paper and a string. So measuring your wrist is fun. There's no big deal. But if you fit off the shelf straps good, most likely you have a 7.5 wrist, or take a little. And if you don't know your wrist size, then most likely also have a regular wrist, because otherwise you would know that you constantly run into problems. Like me, I have an 8 wrist, and if I buy an off-the-shelf strap, the last hole is not even big enough of an off-the-shelf strap. So when you tell us that, then of course we make sure that the root hole is 8, and your watch strap will fit you to 8.5 or to 7.5, if I have that correct. Yes. And so that's the benefit. Or if you you have a 6 wrist, or a 6 and a, well, hopefully you have a little bigger, it makes it easier on me, but you get the picture. When you buy a strap, make it for your wrist. We ask you after you purchase, what is your wrist size, and then the strap will make sure that it has the right length and so on. But if you give us wrong measurements, then trouble starts. But hopefully you give us the right measurement. And you know, since 25 years, I had a couple of people who gave me wrong measurements, and then we can correct it somehow. Maybe have to make one side again or something. But it doesn't happen often. Anyway, so here is our contour cut. You can see it. The strap is thicker here and less thick here. But our straps are substantial straps. They're comfortable, but they're not thin by any means. You get the picture. They are substantial straps, and they feel on the wrist very masculine, you could say. We have a hand-crafted item. That means a machine might be able to do 99% or maybe even almost 100% the same. But a handcrafted item is individual from strap to strap. Then you deal with an organic material on top of it, which looks, Horwin leather is a special organic material. It looks from cut to cut slightly different. Because, why do I say special leather? Because they don't hide by spray painting their leather. They don't do that. So they don't hide the organicness, if that's a word. That's the organicness of leather. They quite the opposite. Now, when you like that kind of thing, oh, we are a match made in heaven. But if you like things to look different than a machine-made strap from Taiwan, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way. It might be a better fit for you, but here you have I like to compare our straps to works of art, because I think that when you purchase a strap that is handcrafted by us, then you get a work of art. And if you're open for that, well, you have a wonderful watch head and you put that strap on. You have quite something unique. That's the guy talking who makes the strap, so take it with a grain of salt, but I try to speak my mind intelligently enough. Please, I'm not trying to impress my opinions on you or anything, but I like to transport some information in those little videos. Now let's try a different watch head, which is already difficult with a one hand operating. This is another, well, this strap was ordered as a 20 millimeter for standard size wrist. And now this is, you know what, it's gonna be hard to stick it in there, but I can show you like this so you can already get a picture of how that would look with a somewhat more, where was this Omega one? It really, I show you these straps have a vintage quality because the way they're made and Horwin and all. So I just want you to get the idea. They can be put on very. Sometimes I demo it on a digital watch, and even there to me they look good. You'll of course be in your eyes, but here you see a little bit a difference. I should probably show you this. The keeper has a rivet in the back to create a sturdy piece. And here you see the contour cut really good. Here thicker, and then here thinner. It's because if you bulge up these, you get that thick. If you bulge up that, you get not that thick, and that's the thing for comfort, and you still have a very masculine strap. It feels very, very sturdy on your wrist. You feel some substance, and yet the comfort level is high. I don't know what else I could tell you. The backside maybe. See again. As I said, this is a handcrafted item, and why do we say the center holes is roughly your root hole? If you give us your wrist size as a 7.5, or if you say standard, then because when you put the strap on a watch, the watches can have this distance varying. Then to have a comfort fit, you might need a different hole. The watches might be thicker from here to here. And so there is a variance, which since 25 years, we never ran into a problem. One time a person needed an extra hole. He gave us a questionable wrist size, and then it is probably just better to go and have your local guy punch you extra hole if you can do it yourself. I mean, you can also ship the strap back and we punch you an extra hole. There's no charge, but shipping might cost extra. So be good when you measure your wrist or give us your wrist size, that we can get this right. And so these, then during the day also your wrist shrinks or expands. That's very common knowledge, and it depends on the water content in your body and so on. So you can, like any watch strap, make adjustments. I wear my watches fairly loose on the wrist, and I don't really need to make much adjustments. Sometimes after a while, I don't wear in the afternoon. I take my watch off altogether because I just want to have as little on as possible. It gets warmer here, and I'm in Northern California, surrounded by chickens. And as you hear in the background a little bit, and the water fountain. So I'm actually surrounded by quite nice things. Now we hear a hawk. Now he's quiet. Sometimes I have even eagles come here. Believe it or not, we have bald-headed eagles here. We also have other eagles here, but the bald-headed eagles sometimes visit me, which is of course very special when they do. I hope you got a little bit of an impression of what we make, and please like and subscribe. And it's Müller.com, MüllerandSon.com, or on eBay, Müller and Son. Or you can text me at 916-835-4748. That is our business text, and our answer. We are what I call a micro business. My wife and I doing this since, there's other people involved too, but my wife and I doing this since many years. I make watch straps on eBay since maybe 20 years. You can see that. Just visit our store, and it tells you when we enrolled, and we have about 5,000 reviews. They're decent enough. No, they're very nice. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good day, and buy yourself another watch strap. I'm glad to make it. That's how we keep our doors open, and thank you for your support and trust. Bye-bye.